Today we're going to be talking about overcoming adversity. Currently we're dealing with COVID, which is an unprecedented thing that we've all had to deal with, but the reality is adversity is something we all face in our personal lives and in business, and having the proper mindset and perception of how to overcome these challenges is super important. Today we're going to really dive deep into that. I'm Brady Nash, and this is The Accidental Entrepreneur. So, originally when I wanted to talk about adversity, I didn't think we'd be experiencing probably the largest amount of adversity the world's ever seen, or at least in my lifetime, being 33. But that's where I probably feel we're at, something that we have never seen before. Now, being an entrepreneur, I think we pride ourselves in adversity. We pride ourselves in problem solving. I know I do. How do I solve a problem? There's a lot of different ways you can solve it. Typically, there's not one way. There's a lot of different ways you could get to the finish line. And in these times, what I've realized is there's people that will grow, there's people that will have success, and there's people that will go backwards. And this isn't a knock on people that go backwards or struggle. I think there's a lot of people, there's people that are losing loved ones. There's a lot of fear that's going on right now. Personally, as a Christian, I believe that, God tells me not to worry about these things. Also, just from my pure mindset is I can't control the things I can't control. I can't control whether we go back to work today or next month or in 4 months from now. That's out of my control, so why worry about it? I try to take all my energy and focus on things I can influence. What can I help? God told me not to worry, but he also said, hey, he gave me a brain, he gave me a body, he gave me energy, he gave me perspective, he gave me experiences. What can I do to put myself in a better position? I think we all know that me curling up in the corner and crying, regardless of what happens, is not going to improve the situation. And so I want to put myself in the best position to take care of my family, my friends, my business, that whatever happens, I'm in the best position to weather that storm. I'm in the best position to make adjustments. And so instead of having fear, I'm using that fear as motivation to drive me forward all the time. And I think that's super important, that having fear of this stuff is normal. Us as humans, we're made to have fear. It's made to protect us instinctually. There's nothing I'm going to say in this conversation that's going to stop you guys from having that fear. I think the important thing is, how do you use that fear to drive you forward? How do you use that fear to motivate you? And for me in my entrepreneur journey, I used fear of failure as a reason I couldn't quit. I used the fear of failure, why I got up early, why I stayed up late, why I did all the things I didn't want to do and I wasn't good at, because I had such a fear of failing or letting my family down or my friends down or the people that, my customers, the people that had bet on me. I just refused. I've said someone was going to have to kill me to get me to quit, because that's how dedicated I was, and fearful of failing. Fearful of giving up, I should say. I'm not fear of failing, I'm not fear of making a mistake, I'm fear of quitting. And for me, I look at everything as a learning opportunity. So in the time right now, when you look at the challenges you're facing and understand businesses, we're in a unique business that we're actually in a pretty good spot. We work with technology companies. Majority of technology companies are actually booming right now. A big part of our business used to be hospitality. Hospitality is really getting crushed right now. And there's not a lot they can do. Yes, online ordering and delivery can help, but it's not the same thing, right? And so I think out of this, there's people that will come out really, really well. There's some people that will use this as a time to do a reset. There's some people that might, maybe they decide to go into a different industry now, and this is the opportunity for do it. And some people are going to double down. I think you're going to see it on both sides of it. And I think it's important for people to understand what they want and why they want it. Is really important. But are you adapting to mobile payments, online ordering? What creative ways can you engage people? There's people doing cooking shows. There's people, literally catering to smaller groups that we're doing it to try to subsidize cash flow. There's people making food for schools or for homeless people. So there's different people, the point is, that are looking at the opportunities in different ways. There's also people that, unfortunately, I feel are giving up. I think it's so important and when you look at challenges, my mind is trained to look at opportunity. And that's what I want to encourage you to do is, what can you control? Stop worrying about the things you can't control. Worry about what you can influence, because when you blame other things, you blame a situation, even if there's validity to it, you lose every chance, you lose all the power to fix it when you blame someone else or another situation or another thing. I want to teach you to change your mind, to empower yourself. What can you do? Because when you go into that mode, that's where creativity can come in, problem solving comes in, is when you empower yourself of what can I do? Not what happened, but now the rules of the games have changed. What can I do to fix this issue, the problem? Whether it's what can I do to help my customers? What can I do so when this thing does come back, because at some point it's going to, what can I do to be in a better position? So us as a business, we're working on, we have different people while practicing, social distancing, working on the building, some construction stuff that needed to get done. We are working on things that were on the back burner that we couldn't get to. In our point of sale business, where we work with a lot of restaurants, we're focusing on, online ordering or better menus or tableside stuff. And some people are setting up even new stations because they want to be ready when this thing does come back. We're working on, training. There's a bunch of our sales reps that, they're not running around selling right now. We're working on training them on products and services that just never really felt like they had time. We're utilizing that to utilize our team or build our team up to make them better experts in different areas. And so every business is different. I don't know particularly what your business is, because there's a lot of them out there. But what can you do? Don't worry about what you can't do. What can you do? Whether that's reading a business leadership book, taking an online course. Don't waste this time. Listen, people complain sometimes that work or business, I don't have time to spend with my kids. I don't have time to spend with my spouse. Now you're getting forced to. Was that an excuse? Or are you actually utilizing that time? Are you investing good quality time with your kids, meaningful time with your spouse? Or are you identifying an issue that you used it as an excuse but wasn't the issue? Whatever is important to you, I'm not going to tell you what's important to you, because you're the only one that can answer that. My thing is, find out what's important to you and go after it. Whether that's getting your health in order, working out because you're not driving to work, you picked up how much extra time in a day. There's a lot of things you can do at home, and just body weight, if that's important to you. Eating healthier, you've got time to eat healthier, you're not probably going out to eat as much. And so again, having a growth mindset and looking at adversity as opportunity is one of the biggest things that I can teach you, that I've taken in my career. I deal with challenges every day. Fires get started every day, and I embrace that my job is to overcome those things. And there's a lot of different ways, and I get better at it the more I do it. So I want to encourage you to just work on that mindset, have a clear perspective. Remember, it's not the event. Bad things happen to everyone. I want to give you a story. There's an example of, this is a common story, right? There's a kid that grew up and didn't have a father. Maybe his father was killed, maybe his father left him. Whatever it is, he grew up, he didn't have a father. And he grew up and he ends up getting in trouble with the law. Maybe he was abusive towards women, or he's a terrible father, not involved in his not involved in his kid's life. And the excuse or the explanation is, well, I didn't have a father. I don't know how to be a father. No one showed me how to be a father. But there's other people that went through the same thing, that didn't have a father, had an abusive father, and they grew up and said, that's why I'm going to be the best dang father ever. That's why I'm never going to miss my kids' basketball games. I'm going to attend every event. I'm going to be there for them. I'm going to coach them. I'm going to be there. Same circumstance. Both didn't have a father. Both didn't have a male figure. One chose to use it as a reason why they weren't going to be doing good things and why they didn't know how to act. Another used it why they were going to be the best at it. My point is, so much of life is you're the narrator of your life. It's your perspective. It's what are you going to choose to do with the conflict, the challenges of your life? Are you a victim? Or are you going to use that as why you're driven, why you're going to be successful? That choice is yours, it's not mine. You write the story to your own life. And I just want to encourage you to write a good story. Do you want to be one of sadness? Do you want to be one of conflict and problems, how everything never went your way? Or do you want it to be of one that you constantly dealt with challenge, you just constantly dealt with adversity? And because of that is why you're so driven. Because of that is why you refuse to quit. Listen, we all have challenges. We all make mistakes. We all have things that aren't our fault. But how you deal with those challenges is going to determine where you end up in life. And so I just want to encourage you. There's a lot of things going on. I completely get it. Obviously I'm talking to a broad audience here. You're going through things I can't even relate to. I understand that. Focus on what you can control. work on growing, and use it and think about it as something that's happening for you to get you where you need to be versus something happening to you. It'll completely change your perspective. Thanks for listening to me today. Hopefully you got some encouragement. I really believe, we're going to come out of here at BNG. We really feel that we're positioned to come out of this whole thing in a rocket ship. I'm hearing some other people are too, and other people aren't. And I really believe that they're still figuring out their path. But if you liked the video, if you thought it was value or encouraging or helped you on some perspective, don't forget to like, subscribe, and please comment. I want to know what you thought about it. I want to know if you have a story of overcoming adversity. Please comment. I want to hear it. I want to read it. Also, if you have any other topics you want me to talk about upcoming, please comment. I want to make sure I'm helping you and providing value to you. Until next time.